We want people to know that there is a cataclysmic situation, despite the Japanese government's making it a felony offense to share this information, and despite the massive blackout that the United States and European press is engaging in, the absolute blackout on the reality of this data.
A lot of people think that, no, there's no such thing. But under this situation, there really is, isn't it, as you said, it's a felony in Japan for anybody in Japan to discuss the negativity of Fukushima. And it is truly being quiet in the press. What is the, in a nutshell, what is the catastrophe at the doorstep?
When the Fukushima Daiichi spent fuel rods hit the open air, and that's going to happen either because fuel pool number 4 is going to collapse. The building is listing. It is crumbling, and that building will collapse, or because the water in fuel pools number 2, 3, and 4 evaporate, which is happening now. When that happens and these rods hit the open air, they will ignite, because the zirconium, which is used to coat the fuel rods, will ignite in the open air. Where they can cool the reactors, they're pouring seawater into the reactors and then dumping that water back out into the Pacific Ocean. Tens of millions of gallons of highly radioactive material have already been dumped into the Pacific Ocean. The amount of radiation which they admit in a news blackout situation, by the way, the amount of radiation which they admit has been emitted into the environment was doubled yesterday by the reluctant Japanese government, just as much given to lying as the United States government is. So if they doubled it, it's 16 times as much. Now, if or when fuel pool number 4, the one in the building that's twisted and breaking up, and it's 100 feet and cracked, it's 100 feet above the ground, when that fuel pool starts to burn, it will release 85 times more cesium-137, to say nothing of all the other radioactive elements in there. 85 times more cesium-137, for example, than Chernobyl. Chernobyl was a single reactor, and eventually, after 7 years of extremely dangerous work, it was capped. It was entombed. The Japanese government has said that TEPCO is not responsible for entombing or in any way controlling any of these reactors, nor is the Japanese government. Instead, they gave TEPCO $12.5 billion, kind of as a reward for disastrous incompetence. Now, 1 million people died in Europe because of Chernobyl. 1 million people, and that says nothing about the birth defects and the long-term chronic degenerative disease that didn't kill people. That's just cancer deaths. So we're talking about one fuel pool releasing 85 times as much long-lasting radiation. So what do you think the chances of the Northern Hemisphere surviving very well are, with a government engaging in absolute criminal head-in-the-sand stupidity, saying we don't need any help from anybody, and making it a felony offense to talk about this, when in fact there are technologies which they're very new technologies on the level of zero-point energy, but they exist, and they can remediate the radiation. But the Japanese government is saying, don't look, don't tell, don't think. And oh, by the way, Japan is a dead man walking.